Welcome, my dear friends, welcome. I am Christian, and this is our Pico-8 hero tutorial, and the time has come. The time has come to do the big thing. To do the thing where we are going to do radical changes to the way our ball movement code in our little Breakout clone works, so we can have multiple balls on the screen. And so, because this is going to be a big one, I want you to do like an extra, backup save. You go folder, you type in folder, and make sure everything is backed up and everything. For me, it's already backed up. It's fine. In case you get lost somewhere down the line, remember there's always, the version of the program after each session. I post down there in like a paste bin, so you can check it out and just copy and paste if somehow you broke something. And we are going to break a lot of things today. So yeah, let's just start it right away. Loader, load hero 1. And I will be honest with you guys. I will be cheating today. So this is the thing that we're gonna do. Power-ups multi-ball. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough. Okay, so I will be cheating because I haven't been programming in a while, and I actually sat down and already programmed this. And I don't like this because I wanted this to be like this very natural way of, finding out how you deal with programs as they show up, instead of just typing in something that you already figured out previously. So I don't like the fact that we're not doing this kind of like live, that we have like a little cheat sheet down here. But again, I haven't been coding for a while, and this would be a much longer episode if I had to figure everything out as we go. And it's kind of nice to have this as a kind of like a helper to figure out things, to kind of like get me back in the game, so to speak. And so here we are, I think. Here we are where immediately things get hairy, which is at our serve ball function. The serve ball function is where a first ball appears, and this is where things get hairy. Actually, even before, I think we have to create. Do we have to create? Did we create it somewhere? Yeah. How does this work? Did we create this somewhere? Start game. Because we have to create an array. I did not. Interesting. So we have to create an array that contains our balls. And I'm going to say it right away, there's no way for this to ever not feel dirty when I talk about having multiple balls on the screen, so just get over it. Right. So we're going to go to the serve ball function, and in the serve ball function, we're going to just restart always the entire array. If the array doesn't exist, it will get created. Where is it? Okay, I'm just scrolling through a little bit, just making sure I have a rough idea what's going on. Okay, so here we are at serve ball. So far, as you can see, we have multiple variables for the different properties of the ball. We have this variable for the x position, for the y position, for the speed in x direction, y direction, for the angle at which it's flying, which is already encoded also in these, but you want to change the angles. The angle always changes between 3 different states, and to remember which was the state, we have like this thing. This is no longer part of the ball, so this we can reset. There is one problem which we're not going to address today, which is the sticky part. This entire sticky thing is a bit of a problem. Generally, like other power-ups that interact with the multi-ball feature are a bit of a problem. We have to make a decision whether we want to just, if you pick up a sticky power-up and you have multiple balls on the screen, all the balls disappear, and you're left with one ball. But then which ball? Are we maybe there's just one ball actually just leaving the screen now, and that ball becomes your only ball? Then there's a bit of a difficult decisions that are coming towards us, but we're not going to deal with them yet because there's much more difficult stuff coming out now. So this part has to be rewritten now, and also everything that accesses this part also has to be rewritten now. Tough. Okay, so we're going to create a very simple array called ball, and ball is going to be is going to be empty at this point. We're going to serve a new ball. So if there was something in the ball array, away with you. We're going to reset the entire ball array. And if there was no ball array before, well, here we go. Okay, and then immediately we're going to create a ball. So I'm going to go ball. And so this will help us a little bit with the template, what kind of properties does our ball object have, because the ball will have a ball object. So we're going to go like new ball. And we're going to actually, so the way this works, I think it's a good idea to create like a function that creates a new object. So you make sure that if you have like balls, like multiple balls in your as objects in your array, that each ball has the same properties, because we said like this might be sometimes it's difficult when you're iterating through an array of objects and all the objects have like different properties, and if one of the objects has different properties than the other ones, but you're expecting every object to be the same, then you get into trouble. So we want to make sure that each ball that we create is always the same ball. And for that, we're going to create a new function called new ball. That function will just create like a template blank ball with all of our properties. Just to make sure that every time we're going to create a new ball, we're going to use this function. And this function is not going to be very creative. Let me see real quick what I wrote previously in this function. Oh yeah, it's really not creative. Ned, like in Game of Thrones. So new ball is going to be just, we're going to call this new ball B. We're going to create it. And again, the syntax is here the same as for an array, but this time it's not an array, it's an object. So the new ball will have an X position, and it's going to be a number. You technically maybe don't even need that. Maybe we can get away with this, but I like having this kind of part later on when we having troubles where maybe, you know, we run out of characters, stuff like that. Maybe we're gonna have to reconsider these things, but okay. So we're gonna have a X position, Y position, a X speed, a Y speed, and we're also gonna have an angle. I'm going to start at 1 with the angle. I don't even know why, but maybe there's some kind of problems. Okay, so it will create this new ball, but of course, we also have to do something with this ball. We're going to return it. We already talked about this, I think, how functions can return values, and those values that they return can be also like an entire object, which is really neat, because now we create like this object with those multiple variables inside. Like it has x, y, dx, dy, angular, and all of these variables are encapsulated in this one b, and we can return it as a return value. So you can see we're going to execute this, and we're going to take whatever came out of this, and we're going to put this in ball 1, in slot number 1 of our new ball array. So we have an array, and inside this array are multiple objects. At least now it's just one object in slot number 1. And I'm going to try to make this work with this one. With this array for now, and if that's working, then we can start adding more things in this array and see if this actually works. That's our plan. Good. And so this stuff here, it's just really syntax. It's not really like we're not really inventing the wheel here. We just the ball underscore x. This part has to be just replaced with ball 1 dot x. Easy, right? And this has to be replaced with ball 1y, and so forth and so forth. So, you know, dx, dy, this is where we make sure that everything is initiated properly. Okay? So far we created things, but now we also broke things, because I think if we run this, oh yeah, see, now it's broken. The point of no return. We have to now fix everything. Okay, so again, the sticky thing we're going to ignore for now. I'm not sure what to do with the sticky thing. Okay, right. There is, off the bat, there is a bit of a problem here. See how we have the setAng function, which sets an angle. Well, the angle is no longer something that is a singular angle that is valid for the entire program, just one angle for the entire program, because there's just one ball. Now we have multiple angles because there's multiple balls now. So if we play setAng, we have to specify which angle we are setting, actually. And this is maybe kind of like getting ahead of ourselves because we actually haven't reached a point where we're changing the angles. But we're already up here, so I want to do this. So the way I'm thinking is maybe just not on just setting the angle to a specific number, but also specifying which ball the angle will be applied to. Oh, actually, not just the ball, but actually getting the actual ball here. So that's actually really neat here, because the way I wrote this here is now you can, instead of going like ball underscore ang, which was our previous variable that contained our angle, we can go BL, that's our ball, that actual ball object. We're going to receive the ball object as an argument, and we can change the angle of that ball object. We're just going to make sure that every time we call this angle change thing, which I think comes up in a second, we also have to now pass this ball object, which is, it's not going to be that hardcore. We just need to add one more thing to this, to the call of this function. Just rewriting this real quick and making sure that things work out marvelously. So now basically what we have to do is the way we're going here through going through this function and replacing all of the ball underscore dx and ball underscore x and ball underscore y, those old variables that all describe one ball. Now we have to kind of rewrite this to work with this new array of balls that we're having here. Okay, so I think this is good. It's not too difficult here. This is okay, this is okay, this is okay. And now here we are. Here we are. Here it comes. So all this stuff is okay. All of this stuff is fine. This is good. Oh no. See, this is the first time where things are getting out of hand, because suddenly we have to deal with ball underscore x, and this is a sticky question here. And so when we're dealing with ball underscore x, we have to actually start putting this into a loop, because now we don't have just one ball that has an x position. We have multiple balls that have x positions. Blah blah blah. Right. So here's something that I'm thinking. This is a huge chunk of code. Look at this. All of this. Here's the end of the sticky if. I think this is it, yes. Yeah. So this yellow part, all of this stuff, not only has this have to be rewritten now, it also, everything has to be put inside a for next loop. And that's crazy. Whoa, that's crazy. So I'm thinking putting this into its special function, right? So it's because this function that this contains is this updated game function is getting a bit over saturated. So I'm thinking I'm gonna Control X, copy this out. Look at how everything is gone now, and just making sure that this gets preserved. We're gonna call this function update ball, right? And then maybe we're gonna go BI. BI stands for ball index. And the idea is that we're just gonna plop this all in here. And now I think I'm a bit concerned that the indentation is a bit weird here. So this is fascinating how the indentation went one back, but okay. Okay, never mind. So this worked now. So this is now we have everything we copied into its own function, update ball BI. That's good. And now we can go back to where we were. This was here, and we can write our loop. And this is why we did this. So now we can do this, and we're gonna do like a little comment here, big ball loop, and I cannot lie. This is just getting more and more dirty. I just gonna try to ignore this as best I can, but as you can see, I'm only human too. Right, so we're gonna start this loop, and again, we did this in this last episode, where we said every time we do things because balls might disappear while we're going through this loop. So every time this happens, we want to go backwards through this array, right? So this is there now. So we're gonna bi is our ball index again. We're just gonna use the same naming here as in this other function, just so everything is nice and sync. So bi, we start with ball, we go back to 1 with a number of balls, hashtag ball, number of balls. We go back all the way back to 1. You know, right now we only have 1 ball in our array, so this won't do anything, but you know, we're just setting up for the future. And then we're going backwards through this, do. And then here, update ball bi. Cool, cool. We don't have to touch, probably, do we have to touch? No, we don't have to, because the pills are colliding with the palette. Good. So now all we have to deal with, 16 minutes in this episode, all we have to deal with is this function. We have to, you know, we have to do it now. You have to do it now. And I'm gonna use my reference thing because I don't want to get stuff wrong. Okay. So this sticky part, again, we don't know exactly how to deal with the sticky part. For now, like every time the ball is sticky, I'm gonna just stick the first ball to the palette, to the pad, to the little thing, to the pedal. The pedal. I was looking for the word pedal. Sometimes my brain doesn't work. Okay, so I'm going to just, instead of the ball underscore y, I'm going to go ball 1y. So this is, you know, the first entry. This is just to make it work, because yeah, sticky yx is also something that is still here. This is something this is just temporary code, because I just don't know how to deal with the sticky part, and I just want to make sure it still works. If there's no multi-balls, if just one ball on the screen, then we're gonna put that ball on our pad, and otherwise, you know, we're gonna think about other things. So this is where things happen, and now to make things a little bit easier, and we don't want to do this every time. This ball, you know, square brackets 1, square brackets closed, point x, you know, there's a lot of writing here. So it would be nice if we have like an object or like a variable name that already contains the ball we're talking about. So we don't have to always specify, you know, because, you know, if we want to, for example, access the x value of the ball with the index bi, then we always have to write ball and then bi and x, you know, and that's, you know, that's a lot of tokens. And there's a lot of writing, and it makes things very difficult to parse. So one good solution for this is something that I said, like, I'm just going to go my ball. I'm going to create a variable called my ball, and we're going to equate this to this whole more complicated thing. It's not a lot of less characters. But one thing that's really great about this is that we no longer use those square brackets, and that makes everything a lot easier to parse, especially as square brackets inside, you know, other brackets. Things get very confusing all of a sudden. Good. So now we can use this my ball variable to talk about the ball that we're talking about. And the cool thing is here, look, we can go like, instead of ball underscore x, we go my ball dot x. See, and that's all the rewriting we're going to do. So I can just take the my ball dot. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to just replace it all the time here. See, it's not too bad. It's just like a lot of typing, but we can do this. It's okay. So far, it's not too bad, right? So we have like this next variable, which is something that we introduced. So we can kind of like anticipate where the ball is going to be next. That's fine. And look, so here's the dx. So we're just looking for every time there's a ball underscore thing happening. And every time there's a ball underscore happening, we're just going to replace it with my ball dot. That's basically what all this stressful stuff that all this stressful introduction I talked about. That's what it all boils down to. Cool. So now this is cool. Now the ball will start hitting walls. That's good. Okay. So here is something that might be stressful. So the question is if the ball has hit the box. But now, of course, I think we have to. Let's see. No, actually, this will work. This will work. We don't have to change this because you see, we're plugging in the coordinates of next x and next y. We actually plug in coordinates. We're actually not dealing with the ball underscore x and ball underscore y. This is actually all nicely encapsulated. But here's something that we have to change. Okay. This is also something we need to change, and this is also something we need to change. Something we can do, and that would make things a lot easier. You can look for ball underscore and just replace every time. But one reason why I don't like to do this is because I want to actually go through and see if there's any kind of like unforeseen consequences, right? I want to see if there's something that actually breaks because of the way all of this works now. And if it does, I want to be here to repair this. And we want to make sure that ball underscore r is actually there's just one radius. Not the individual balls don't have their own radius. So that's something we need to watch out for. But I don't think I did this here. No, I didn't. This is the deflect ball thing, but it's okay. Yeah, okay. So we're not going to touch. So that's one, for example, one of the reasons we don't want to. We do want to touch the dx, but we don't want to touch the underscore r. Okay, everything is good. Then here is two things we need to change. This we're not going to touch. Ball R, not going to touch. There's something we need to change. All right, so see, this is what I was talking about. So here is where we are going to we're gonna set the angle, right? That was what we were talking about, set ang. So here we're gonna go myball.ang -1, and here we're gonna go myball, comma, and then whatever you had in before here, and of course also placing the ball underscore ang to myball.ang. And same thing down here. I already see myball, comma, and myball in the mid function here. Now again, you kind of have to be like, okay, this might be a bit complicated, and there's a lot to take in, but you just have to focus on certain rules and kind of like think a little bit through here, like what's this actually doing now. We're dealing with a collision between the paddle and the ball, and that's where we change the angles and stuff like that. Right, there's something I also missed here. Ball dx. Just being really careful here. Ball ang. All right, yes, myball.ang. That is good. That is good. All right, so this is where we catch a power up. Power up equals 3 and dx in there. Okay, then sticky equals true. Sticky. Oh, this is the sticky part, right? Okay, never mind. Yeah, okay. Again, I'm not exactly sure how to deal with this. We're going to deal with the sticky later. I just want to make it sure that it actually runs, and then once it's running, we can actually think about it. So this is now the part where the ball hits the bricks. And I think this will just work. Precious. So this is good. This is good. There's a deflection here. We have to deal with this. Oops, I pressed the wrong button. Oh no, button. Okay, we're gonna replace this, we're gonna replace this, and we're gonna replace this. I'm really, I don't like this. I don't like doing a tutorial where we replace a lot of code. I did this previously with some of my students, and it can be very confusing, but don't be afraid. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. At the end, where we come out at the other side, we will be so amazed. Okay, so this is good. And I think we're almost through. We're almost through. So this is where we actually set the position of the ball. And so this is the last part. We're almost through. We're through, guys. We're almost through. Almost. Here's the part where we are checking if the ball has left the screen. But it actually, as you can see, it actually doesn't actually have any my ball or ball underscore X or ball underscore Y and stuff like that. So it will still just work. I'm gonna try this. It didn't work. Damn it. Let me see. 601. Aha, there is a ball underscore DX which we missed. In 600 in the line 601. What does this do down there? Is there something more we have to deal with? 601. It was not in the function that we dealt with, but later. 601. Ah, of course. Of course. Naturally. This is the part where we draw the ball. Where we actually draw the ball on the screen. Because previously we were just dealing with, you know, how the ball behaves, the physics and stuff like that. But now we actually have to deal with, you know, where we actually draw the actual friggin' ball on the screen. So, yeah, this is going to be an easy thing. There's no reason to go backwards through the array because we're not going to actually delete any balls while we're doing this. So this is going to be just really straightforward. Hashtag ball from 1 to hashtag ball. Do, and then end, and then circ. Well, actually, no. This is we're now gonna copy this guy. Now we cannot use myball anymore because myball is something that we created for this one big function over there. Now we're gonna have to actually do the square bracket solution. As you can see, it's a bit more awkward, I think, but whatever. Something like this, yeah. And then here. Now the R is not something that is, and that's it. What's with the line? Yeah, the line also has to be dealt with. So the line is only actually when you are launching the ball number 1 from a paddle because it was sticky. So here we can directly address ball 1. We don't have to do like any for next loop. For now, again, maybe. I still have to figure out. I have to think about this. I have to think about how to deal with these kinds of problems. But so far, I just wanna make it work. And because rewriting stuff when the program is already actually working is always so much easier than rewriting stuff if nothing is working at all, because you don't know if you're actually doing things correctly or if you're adding any more errors. So, you know, always make sure that your code is actually working. And then when it's working, no! Oh, almost. Oh. Okay, what's happening here? Oh yeah, there's a ball underscore Y in the line 371. 371. Almost. 471. Oh, there you go. I already found it. How did I miss this? I am such a dummy. Like in plain sight. Yay! So this is now the part where... This is now the part, guys, where I'm gonna end this episode. I know this is a bit disappointing. We did a lot of programming and we achieved 0, so to speak, at least no visible results. I know this is disappointing, but the big payoff, the reason why we did all this work, comes in the next episode, and it's gonna be so awesome. You will see it was completely worth it doing this kind of silly goosey stuff. And when a big payoff comes, you can thank me for that. Or maybe you can still hate me. Anyways, post in the comment section if you didn't understand something here. I know this was a bit of a messy episode. We had to go through a bunch of code and do some changes that were just really just, you know, changing one thing to another thing. But so yeah, so let me know if I lost you somewhere along the line. And remember, there's always the code at the end of the episode is always down in doobly-doo, and that might help you out. So see you next time around for the big payoff.